This is Girl Stop Playin, a weekly show that empowers Black women to stop playing with their potential so they can live a life that they love. I'm Coriel, your favorite homegirl, and I'm on a mission to help Black women make the money and get the honey. You can have it all as long as you're willing to work. Welcome back to another episode of the Girl Stop Playin podcast. It's your favorite homegirl, Coriel, here to encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. You already know I'm bringing you the information and the conversations to help you make the money and get the honey. You can have it all as long as you are willing to work. And today I have a real working woman joining us on the pod. We got Charmaine in the building. Hey, boo.
Hello, hey everybody.
So, for those of y'all who have not heard of Females Who Flip, I don't know where you have been, but Charmaine, I love to make sure we put some respect on your name. So, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself and let the people know who is Charmaine.
Okay, well, my name is Charmaine. I am from Indianapolis. I currently live in Georgia. I've been here for about since 2015, so for a while. I've been in real estate for this would be my 12th year. I've been licensed for going on my ninth year. And I got into real estate by working as an intern to these two investors. And from there, after being their property manager, their wholesaler, going to the tax sale for them, I decided to start, doing my own thing, having my own rentals, my own multifamilies, doing my own flips. I am a licensed realtor as well. And now I have a firm of over, I think it's 35 of us now. And we flip property. I lead them on the flipping journey. So that's a little bit about me.
So I love that you got into like your start of this entrepreneurial career that you've created for yourself actually started like with a job. And I think it's so amazing that you were able to take some skills that you learned on somebody else's dime and then figure out how to make it make sense for you. That's definitely, a interesting way to get into real estate because I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that most people get into real estate by simply just becoming an agent, not necessarily working real estate deals for their company. But I love that you were able to kind of see and learn, on somebody else's dime basically before really jumping into real estate yourself.
Yeah, you are so right, Coriel, because so many people think being an agent is the first step. And when you go to get licensed, that's just like being licensed to become a nurse or RN. It's a lot of footwork that goes into that. And sometimes, if that's not your dream passion, then you definitely should not go and get licensed because there's so many opportunities in real estate, so many ways to make money. Getting a real estate license is just one of the things that you could do. It's not the starting point though.
I love that. We were definitely gonna get into that part because I've seen you posted on Instagram like I'm over here trying to teach y'all how to make money, and y'all keep asking me how do I become a real estate agent. But from
Working a job.
you want to work this job, but
Right.
that's from the outside looking in. People who are not familiar, that is like ABC 1 2 3. If I want to do real estate, I need to go become a realtor. So just dispel that myth of maybe share some other opportunities that don't require you to be a licensed realtor.
Well, one of them is investing, just buying property, flipping it, or just becoming a homeowner. You don't have to be licensed to be a homeowner, and that's an investment too. You can go to the tax sale, you can invest that way. Maybe you want to start your own property management company, or it's so many jobs in the industry. You can work at your city county building and work at the homestead, like the tax auction. You can be a mortgage lender. It's so much to do in our industry. It's over probably 20 plus jobs.
So you just brought up one that I've heard of. I think was it mortgage? What was the last one you said? Mortgage lending.
Yep, you can be a mortgage like loan officer.
So what does that mean? And what are some other, because I've heard of people being like appraisers. I just want to,
Hmm.
my goal for this conversation is to expand people's mindset, just educate them on other ways that you can get involved, take advantage of the major opportunities that there are within real estate without thinking that you have to go down this one very traditional path of becoming a realtor. So what are some of those other like ancillary jobs that are still related to real estate that people just might not even know you can like train or, just learn how to do?
So, like a mortgage loan officer, you do have to be licensed. That's, of course, working at the bank. Like sometimes you go to Chase or something, you see like a mortgage loan originator or, Wells Fargo. Like they have people who write the mortgages. So that's an opportunity. I have a friend, we started in real estate at the same time. I always tell this story. She went the property management route. She's not licensed, but what she does is she manages over 20 different landlords' property. All of them own maybe like 15 plus properties a piece. And from her business, she gets paid almost 20K a month just from managing these different landlords' properties. Some months she has to evict somebody, some months she might move a new tenant in, some months it's just people pay their rent and they go about their day. She doesn't have to do anything and she still gets paid. So that's a business that she created from herself. Even my property manager, they're not licensed, they work for me. I don't live in the state that my properties are in, and they if I need them, they are there hand and foot. So that's another job. I have a friend who works at the city county building, so she does like the homestead taxes. So when you come in and you want to file, your taxes for your homestead credit, she works at that place where people go in, they pay their taxes, they get a homestead credit. Maybe they want the auction list, so she works there. Like it's so many. Those are a few that I can think of right off
That's
the.
good. No, I think that's a good start. That at least gives people like a place to start, or at least the understanding that there's more out there than just
It is.
going to show homes or even flipping homes. Because I feel like with Instagram and social media, it's a beautiful place, right? You can get inspired, you can learn
Listen, the
something new.
realtors are looking good.
It looks
I'm
real
talking
good.
about they
It
make me
looks
want to
real
be
good.
be back in that industry because they got the car, the outfits, they looking good at closing. But
But that's not for everybody.
yeah.
Nor is demolition, like demolition. What's the demolitioning? I don't know what the verb of that is. But flipping a house is not necessarily for anybody either, but for
Mhm.
everybody either. But Instagram will have you thinking that
Mhm.
everybody and their mama is either out here selling real estate or flipping houses. And,
Yep.
kudos to the people who are, but there are other ways that you can still find your way in this space. You mentioned like the tax office, tax liens. I want to talk about that though, because I think when it comes to real estate, there's a lot of misinformation. What is how does it truly work? Because what I think, and what I think probably a lot of people think, is if you don't pay your taxes, you can own this house. And I'm doing air quotes because here in America, we don't really ever own anything. But you can purchase this house, right? Go sit down at the closing table, do all of the things. If you do not pay your property taxes on your home or on your property, what does happen?
So if you don't pay your taxes, eventually it's not like right away. They give you so many warnings, but when you default on them altogether, it does go back to the state. So even when you pay a home off and you have no mortgage, you still have to pay taxes on that. So what happens is as soon as you're done, like paying and you decide not to pay anymore, it goes to the tax sale because the state wants to make money off of that property, of course. And then people go to bid on it. Now, there are different states just depending on the type of state that you live in. Some you get the property, right then and there. Some states have the tax sale where you have to wait, you get a redemption period. I know I'm in Indianapolis, so ours was like 6 months to a year. So the seller can come back, but they have to pay you insurance on that property. So some people just invest into tax liens just to get the insurance. No, they know that the seller might come back. And I do want to say a lot of times the tax sale, it's in a very emotional way to invest. Okay, it's not for everybody. It's a mental process because sometimes you got to deal with the sellers. You got to evict the sellers out of a property. It's emotional, it's mental. A lot of times people leave the property for tax properties. They're not always in the best condition, so it's usually like a rebuild, like a total gut. So versus you can go and do like a lipstick flip, something that you find on the MLS, or a live-in flip, something that you live in and flip. So a lot of times sometimes the tax sale, it looks fun, it looks nice, like you said on social media, everything looks glamorous. But once you step into that tax field, it's some steps that you gotta cover yourself on. So, but yeah, that's how you get the property. Your state will have all the information on, how they tax you, and then you can go and bid on the property. And the tax sale is a good opportunity. I always say to people, just go to the tax sale, even if you don't have any money or you don't have any, um, you don't plan on purchasing anything. Just go and get the experience from being at the real estate tax sale.
What is a realistic, or what has been like the lowest that you've seen a property go for at a tax sale?
So this is when I was working with the investors back in the day. This was in like 2012. I seen a property go for as cheap as $8,000. And the highest I seen one go for was like 40,000, and I think that was like a church. Um,
But so
but
okay, so this is another.
it's double now. It's way
Right, right,
more
right.
now. Yeah.
But what do you have to bring there? Like, do you have to have a check for $8,000 in hand, a check for $40,000 in hand? How does that part of the process work?
So everything is virtual now, and I haven't been since the whole COVID situation, how they changed it up. But I know from my state, you have to register. It's $1,000. You get that back. If you don't bid, you get that back. But if you do, it goes towards the property, and then you have like 2 days to, because the property can go up because it's an auction. So you never bring like the correct amount, but you have like 24, 48 hours to get the funds sent over to them.
Got you. Okay. And then, so I have not had, obviously, I have not had experience with tax sales. Me and my husband did go through the land bank though. And for those of y'all who are
Oh,
not familiar,
yeah.
and I'm not even that familiar, so I'm not about to sit up here and act like I am, but I know the process. I know that we, went online, we went on the land bank, we, located some properties, and then we had to bid. And it was during COVID. So it was like over the phone, where everybody
Mhm.
was bidding.
Oh.
And then they had some properties that you didn't have to bid on. You just submitted a check and it was yours. And so literally in 2020, we purchased like 11 properties. And don't make me lie about how much it was, but I want to say it was less than like $8,000 that we got all these properties for. All of them are not parcels, like some of them are just pieces of land. But I
Mhm.
didn't even know that this land bank thing was a thing. Tell the people what the land bank really is, because that was a real bootleg description of what it is. But as much as you know about the land bank, how can that also be used, or can that still be used as an opportunity to get in?
So this is why you really got to figure out what your niche is going to be, because getting into real estate, you don't want to be all over the place, because then you get to buying stuff that has no real value. So I would say focus on one or two ways how you're going to invest and learn that full process all the way in and out. Don't be all over the place. But the land bank is basically you're buying property that the city or the state owns, and then a lot of times they put restrictions, requirement, regulations on the land. So you really can't do what you wanted to do or in a time frame. Just like the dollar properties for the Baltimore, that's basically the state selling those, but they're giving you restrictions, requirements. They have a selling period, versus if you're just buying something outright and you own it and you can do whatever you want to do with it. So keep in mind when you go to the land bank, they're going to have rules, restriction, requirements, versus when you buy something outright from like the market or from a tax sale that gives you the property within that day. So just keep in mind on when you get the property and if there are any rules and regulations, because the land bank, you can walk away with a lot of stuff that has no value. Yeah, how was your experience with that?
Yeah, so we did not end up developing any of the properties, but we have sold, maybe we basically flipped them without flipping them. I don't know what that what's the term for that, but people just came and purchased them from us in the same condition that they were in, but they pay, 10, 11 times what we paid. So that
Oh, well,
was
that's
kind of a
good.
strategy. We didn't, I think we ain't really had no plan though. We ain't really had no strategy. We just saw some cheap properties. I mean, we got one of them for like $500. It was just a piece of land, but we felt like we've wasted $500 on worse things, so it wasn't gonna
So
hurt.
how much did you sell that for?
So one that was maybe $800, we ended up selling it for like 8,500.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just the one I know of because that was the one that was in my name. So I know the numbers on that one. But
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
if you can't if you once you buy from the land bank and you don't want to do the rules or regulations that come with it, that is a way to flip property though, wouldn't you say?
yeah, it
Yeah.
just wasn't a strategy. That's
Yeah.
what it ended up
Yeah.
being. But so what
Right.
about in 2024 with whatever the current state of real estate is? We know that there are all of these options. You can, be an agent where you are profiting off of, selling or helping people sell or buy homes, flipping properties, tax sales, land banks. What would your professional recommendation based on your experience, your expertise right now for somebody who wants to get into real estate, but they are not particular about how they want to get in? What would your advice be?
Well, I would say you can join us. You can flip with females who flip. But what I would say is do like a lipstick flip or
What's a lipstick flip?
a lipstick flip is, yeah, I should explain that. It's like, something that is just minor, like it just needs a little grooming, maybe new paint, new carpet, new appliance, just a little, just something that you can find that has good bones. You don't really have to tear down too much in the property. Maybe you want to take a closet and turn it to a bathroom. That's the most that you would do, just to increase that value a little bit. But you can do a lipstick flip and you can go through the process of going through the MLS, or maybe you find a property through a wholesaler, or I would do like a live-in flip, something that you can live in and flip it as you live in it. A lot of people do the multifamily buy-in where you buy multifamily on FHA or conventional because it's cheaper down and you live in one. Basically, that's house hacking. Like you live in one and you rent the other units out, or you have an extra basement that you Airbnb, or that you rent out to somebody, long term. So I would say those are probably some smoother methods to get in. Also, land. If you can find some land, some good land on the MLS, you can come up with the blueprints. You can sell it to a developer without even swinging a hammer. You can do that, or you can go to a builder and just build straight up on it. So those are some creative ways to get into real estate.
So when it comes to flipping, before I had done the flip with you, so I do want to talk about, how you facilitate your flips and how you are creating opportunities for other Black women to be able to get into real estate without risking it all because they don't know what the hell they're doing. But before I had the experience that I had with you, one of the questions that I always had when I would see people flipping on Instagram was, where the hell are y'all getting this money? Because I understand, you know, doing all the things to get to the closing table. But then I could not for the life of me understand, like, but where's the money coming from to be able to do all these renovations? Like, do you just have $150,000 sitting around waiting for this? How does that part of it work? For somebody who's interested, but they're like, girl, I don't have 150K.
Right, yeah. So the money is everything. I will say before you can even go to looking at property, you have to have the funding together. And okay, so how where should we start? Because money is such a touchy topic. But I will say the bank, a lot of people don't know you can get up to 10 mortgages on your credit as long as the bank will approve you for it. So as long as your debt to income is aligned and you're not, you don't have a lot of credit cards or a lot of car payments, or things like that. So if the bank approves you for 400,000, don't use that on one property. Of course, your realtor wants that commission, the lender wants you to do that, but don't do that if you plan to invest. Never buy your dream home as a first home. But I would say that's a way to fund the deals. A lot of people, if you have rental properties and you properly structure those rental properties on the business side, that opens up business funding. So now maybe you can get e-commerce lending, plus you can take that property back to the bank and get like a HELOC loan or a cash out mortgage, something like that. That's what a lot of investors do. They do the BRRRR strategy. Have you heard of that?
I have, but someone listening or watching may not have.
Okay, so the BRRRR strategy is basically like, I'm cold like Burr. It means to like buy a property. So however you buy it, if it's through a mortgage, tax sale, whoever, you buy a property, you rehab it. If it needs rehab, sometimes they don't. you rehab it, you rent it out, you go to the bank and you refinance it, because if you have a tenant in there, that's increasing your debt to income, that's increasing your monthly income. So now not only are you able to take this property back to the bank and pull money from it to go buy another investment, I always say that one property should be able to buy you another property. If that one property that you have is not able to buy you another property, is it really an investment? Because the whole goal of real estate is to make money. We're not here to make little money. We here to make a lot of money. It's real estate. It's it's $1 trillion industry. So I would say that is a way, using the birth strategy as well. So it's a lot of different methods. The business structure method, going to get a mortgage. They have hard money lenders out here. The number one thing though is going to be your credit. That's going to determine your credit, and then business setup, proper business structure. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Explain hard money lending, because that's another term that I feel like people have probably heard of, but don't necessarily know what it is or how it works. So explain what it is and then talk about like how it works and the risks associated.
Yeah, hard money lending, I would say only do it if you exhausted all other options for funding, because it's exactly what it says. It's hard. So the terms are going to be hard. The interest rate is going to be harder. Your draws when you go to pull out more money from the hard money lender to flip, that's going to be harder. So hard money is a good option, but I would say only use it after you have exhausted all funding options. And that's what we teach inside of Females Who Flip, like where to, because everybody's funding is different. The funding that I use or have access to, yours might look a little different. You might have a husband who can co-sign for you, or you might have a business that you can, pull from, or you might own a property you can pull equity. So everybody's funding options are different.
Got you. So well, before I even ask the question, what is your um take on like the current real estate situation? I don't know if I should say real estate and the market. That's what I want to say. Because, word on the street is now is not a time, to buy because the interest rates are doing this and the interest rates are doing that. With the market being what it is right now, first of all, what do you think the state of the market is? And then the second half of the question is, based on the market, where would you say is the safest investment?
So I think the market is good. Like, even if interest rates get to, humbly speaking, even if interest rates get to a 10, 11%, investors are still going to invest because they know how to make their return back quick and effectively. So even if the market gets crazy, investors are still going to place their money somewhere, because they know how to properly buy. But I would say I think the market it's okay. It's not what it used to be years ago, but that's just because life happens. But I think it's good. The best way to really take account of what the market is just know your numbers and purchasing at a threshold that's going to give you a great profit. Like, study your numbers. It takes a while for you to look at a property. That's why if you plan to invest, you got to be looking at property every single day, because the deals go so quick because there's so many people with so much money looking to get into real estate. So I think the market is good for where it is now. You just have to know your own strategy, your own flipping lane, your own methods. Um, and there was a second part to the question.
Well, my second part was just what is your advice based on the market? But you said the market is good. So it,
Yeah.
it seems like you wouldn't discourage people from investing right
I
now.
wouldn't. I would not discourage anybody from investing. I'm trying to think of everything that I've been hearing lately. I know interest rates, but that's really the only thing besides inflation. But rent is high and mortgages are expensive. I would just say get in where you can, but just make sure it makes sense. Just make sure the numbers make sense. If the numbers is going to leave you house poor, don't do it. Just understand it's a lot of bills that comes with being a homeowner. We do get a lot of cushion, and we do have tax breaks, and you get homeowners insurance and all of that, but you don't want to go house poor. You still want to go on vacation, live a life, buy groceries. So you just got to know your numbers.
So what is your, I mean, I know your answer to this, but I'm still going to ask the question anyway.
Hmm.
The rhetoric on the internet that's like, you're wasting your time if you're renting versus I don't want to buy. Like I have no desire to purchase a home. I'd rather just pay this rent. Now you are in real estate, so again, I already know your answer, but based on the reality of home ownership, I'm not just talking about buying a property to flip a property. I'm talking about home ownership, like what it takes to maintain your home. Just based on what you know, what is your advice when somebody says, "Girl, I could just rent this apartment in this high rise versus buying this house. I got to worry about the lawn. I got to pay for things when it falls apart." What do you say to these people? Cause I'm torn. I'm
So
not gonna lie, I'm torn.
no, do not be torn. Like, do not let these people trick y'all out of y'all spot. Like, literally, you can't go to your landlord and ask your landlord, can you pull equity? You can't go to your landlord and ask your landlord, can you pay mortgage on the 10th? Like, when you have a mortgage, you pay your mortgage on the 15th. You have 15 days to pay that mortgage. So even though they say, you truly never own anything in America or whatever the statement is, it's all about the numbers and how you strategize to capitalize off of that. Real estate is not a paying Peter to pay Paul type of business. It's only like that if you don't truly know your strategy or your numbers. But once you really get into real estate and you do it full time, it's literally the best investment, honestly, y'all. Don't sleep on it. Like, don't listen to your cousin who hasn't owned anything. Like, you got to experience it for yourself and just learn. Because your landlord is definitely making money from you. Even if you are in an apartment, everywhere is real estate. The streets we walk on, somebody's paying the tax bill. The cubicle that you work in, your job is paying the lease for that. Everything is real estate. So it's either you gonna get some or your neighbor's gonna buy it.
Big facts. Big facts. I think just the fact that you have equity,
Yeah.
and you can refinance, you can pull that equity out and now invest, with that.
Hmm.
So I think again, to your point, it really comes down to having strategy. But a lot of people don't have strategy. A lot of people don't have knowledge, the experience, the expertise. I know when I was doing the flip with you and y'all was like, well, let's run these numbers. Baby, I can't run no numbers. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what is going on. And that is not the position you want to be in as an
Hmm.
investor out here by yourself, which is why I love that you've created this investment group where you are literally facilitating the flipping process. So please talk about how your process works, and how you are facilitating flips so that other women can get involved in real estate.
So how it works is we do have requirements. You must have a certain amount, proof of funds, and a certain amount of credit. Each investor usually invests between 20 to 25,000. That's usually the most. And then I don't like to keep people's money tied up. So it's usually a 2 to 3 month process. So we usually flip it, let's say 2 months, put it on the market a month, and then you cash out. I don't try to do any flips that are under $50,000. So I bring my contractors in, I do my flipping methods, the strategies that I grew up on, and I teach those to the ladies who flip with us. And then within those 3 months, they get their money back plus a pretty good profit. So that's basically the process. And the goal is for them to flip on their own once they're done with us, and to know, okay, how it goes, what's included, the paperwork at the title company. But yeah, that's kind of like the process with females who flip when we bring on investors.
So you mentioned that you have to have the proof of funds and the credit. Now I know that realtors almost become like credit experts because y'all end up having to coach people a lot of
Hmm.
times through how they can improve their credit, build their credit, or whatever. For
Yep.
somebody out there who's like, okay, I got the proof of funds, but I already know that I got to work on this credit. Can you share, or do you have any hacks, tips, tricks, tools that somebody watching this right now who has a goal of joining you to flip in the next 6 months? Like, is there anything that she can do between now and that time to improve her credit? And I know everybody's credit is different.
Yeah, I would say just pull your credit report, look what's on your credit, cut down on some stuff, pay some stuff off. I wouldn't necessarily jump right into hiring a credit repair coach unless you just cannot do it, because we know what we owe as people. So take it for what it is. Try to maybe work out an agreement with the creditor who is after you, or try to get it taken off your credit. And then if you can't, then you can go the route of bankruptcy or hiring someone. But first, at least try to fix it on your own. So that's step one. And then also, I would say pulling your credit from a real source, and then also going to like a mortgage lender, and letting them pull your credit because they know what needs to be taken off of your credit in order to get a house. So they can tell you, and then also going to like different mortgage or different lenders, not just relying on one, because just because one lender says no doesn't mean they all have the same rules and regulations or whatever. So it's a lot that goes with credit repair, but I would say try to do those few things to help.
Got you. Okay. With all that you got going on, because I know you just had a new. How old is your baby?
My son, he's 14. He just caught a flight
No,
to
no,
a
the
back.
baby, the
Oh,
baby.
he's 1 month.
Girl,
That's
1 month old. You talking about the 14-year-old? No, the baby girl.
it's
1
so
month old. The
funny.
baby. I thought the baby was about to do his first podcast. I
Oh,
thought he was about to get it in, but he had to exit. How so before you even had the latest baby, I would see you posting like a day in the life on Instagram. And I always wondered how the hell you're doing all of this, how you are managing multiple properties in multiple states, managing these flips that you're doing, still running your day to day business, being a mother, whatever other roles, titles, responsibilities you have. I want to know what is your daily routine? Like, how are you? And I guess I'm just asking about like time management because I think, we see all of these people doing all of these amazing things on Instagram and we instantly think, I can't do that. But most of the time we can't do it because we don't have a system or a strategy or the time management skills to get it done. So what are your time management routines looking like?
well, I used to be a 5 a.m. girl, but now this baby, it's hard. I haven't figured that part out. But I would say step one is a support system. Like you gotta treat your support system with so much grace and love. Like if it wasn't for my son's father, the 14-year-old, like I don't know where I would be. Like you really gotta give grace to your support system, whether it's a mother, it's a co-parent, because when you're an entrepreneur, period, if your house ain't in order, your business life is going to be in shambles. So you just have to be a graceful person, period, I feel. So that's step one, is to just treat your support system, the people who help you, treat them with everything you got. But secondly, I would say waking up early, so I can get more out of my day. I would say take some vitamins. Like I was so drowsy when I had my son, the new baby, and I had to get on some like iron pills, and that really helped me. So I do the iron pills so I can keep the energy up, and sometimes I do like the IV drips like once every other month just to keep my body. Because when you entrepreneur, you running rugged, okay? You working 60 hours in a week, so your body, your health is definitely the main thing too. So I would just say those two: support systems, your health, and having a team. So when I got pregnant, I had somebody, Briante, she came in, she took over for us. Just having a team, like building that back end system to your business so that if you do have to, work less, you're not working as hard. So I would say a team, your support system, and then managing your health. Those are probably
It sounds like ask for help. That's what I
ask
got out
for
of that.
help.
Ask for help. If
I'm a
you don't,
beggar.
baby, listen, I be having my hands out. Okay. I will tell my husband, help me. I'm poor. Help me. All of that independent woman stuff. It's
Mm-mm.
not until you need the help. At
Yes.
least for me. It wasn't until I needed the help that I was able to ask for the help because you will literally run yourself into the ground trying to be a superhero and you ain't getting no extra pay. You're not
No.
getting no award for burning yourself out. Like you literally aren't getting that. So I love your answer. Being graceful, being appreciative of the people who are taking care of you, super important. Having that structure in place and then taking care of yourself because we try to separate like our mental health, our physical health from like the money that we're making. But if you are not taking care of your mental health and your physical health and your emotional health, the money is going to suffer. The business
Yep.
eventually is going to suffer. So I love that answer. Okay, last question. Because you work with so many women, you mentioned having a team. How do you manage relationships, professional relationships with other women?
Oh, you gotta just know how to read the room, honestly. Okay, because I just had a situation with somebody. Um, it was about real estate. You just gotta read the room. Like you gotta know your personnel. Like first you gotta tap into yourself, who you are, be who you are, but you gotta know how to read other people and understand like you take it for what it is. It's not an emotional business. Take your emotions out of it. Some people lead with emotions, and as an entrepreneur for the business that I am in, I can't lead with emotions. So you have to take your emotions out of it, and you have to know your personnel. You got to know who you're dealing with, and you got to read the room.
Whoo, reading the room. That is an art that
Yeah, I
people
just
don't
had
teach
a
you.
yeah.
You had a little
I'm
situation.
learning this. I'm learning this too. Like I've been doing it for a while. It's hard, but yeah.
Okay. I said that was my last question, but I got one more. When it comes to managing a team, most of us don't have leadership experience. We have not, just been in that role. And as an entrepreneur, you are pushed into all of the roles. What is your best advice for someone who is an entrepreneur? They may, currently be a solopreneur, but they know it's going to take a team. What has been the biggest lesson you've learned in managing other people?
Um. mm, I would say it goes back to okay. It goes back to yourself, like how you work as an entrepreneur, like how you handle business. That will help you manage. Because I do have a team as well, and understanding that everybody's different. We all have different ways that we move. Some people might be a micromanager, then okay, I'm gonna give you this task. Or some people might like to just tune out, work on their own. Okay, this works for you. I'm not gonna bother you. So you really just gotta know who you're dealing with and give roles accordingly. Especially when you're working with a lot of people and working with realtors because I have to work with realtors, appraisers, inspection, and it can be a lot. So just having your back end set up that will help you manage everything, asking for help, having an assistant, a transaction coordinator, somebody who handles the paperwork, hire somebody to take the load off of you. Like we can't do everything, and I don't want to do everything. I know it's been a point when you getting started, you the content creator, the back end person, you answering the calls, but as you grow, you should be taking yourself out of that. So just study your business and also invest into like mentorship, take classes, stuff like that.
I love it, and a lot of stuff you're gonna have to learn the hard way, unfortunately. I appreciate you, Charmaine. As always, I got to figure out how I can get into another flip, y'all. But on Instagram, she is at Females Who Flip. For the people who want to flip with you or just want to stay connected with you, aside from Instagram, where can they find you and stay connected?
So I'm on every platform, Females Who Flip. That's Threads, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can find me
TikTok.
on TikTok too. I'm on all the social media platforms at Females Who Flip.
Females Who Flip, check her out. If you flip with her, tell her your girl sent you. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Make sure you subscribe to the pod, comment below, and let me know something that you learned. And I will catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Bye, Coriel. Let me know
Bye,
if you want to
girl.
get on another flip.
Girl, I'm letting you know on air, on record. Yes, I do. I'll text
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Thanks, boo.